corporations have started thinking beyond business. So Milton Friedman says that the business of business is business, but now the corporations have started thinking beyond business. So you rightly, I know, mentioned it. It's been, I would like to know what has been your, personal experience in terms of, program implementations in terms of CSR for the last decade. What kind of, impactful CSR programs which you feel that, you have been able to, put it up?
Great. So continuing, this question also tags along with the previous question. So continuing with the same component of it, how the perspectives of corporates have also changed over the years after this law has got enacted. So when in my previous assignment with the Landmark Group is all about retail. It's a retail conglomerate. But the interventions, what we did under CSR was related to healthcare. It had nothing to do with retail or their business. So That's the level of maturity that the corporates had also gotten to understand that this fund is for creating social good rather than assisting or looking at it only from a business extension perspective. So from that way, I feel happy that I got an opportunity over there. And even now in my current assignment in the Bangalore International Airport, we are looking at from a perspective of creating social values rather than anything else. And we are looking at making it more merrier and more holistic by inviting other interested parties also to join hands. So, look at the way corporates fight very well when it comes to the business. But when it comes to the social values, they are open enough to collaborate. And they are saying that let's look at how to make it more holistic or more larger by collaborating. So in that perspective, the thing which we are doing over here from an education interventional component of it, infrastructure development has always been one of the uptake and a visible component of CSR for all corporates when it comes to an education intervention. So they create an infrastructure, but what beyond infrastructure? So that is what brings in from an impact perspective or an outcome perspective. Impact has been quite a lot of beaten word of late in the CSR sphere, but let me stick to outcomes rather than focusing on the impact part of it. So from an outcome perspective, when I look at how the projects are being shaping up, so we brought up this component of which was almost a forgotten program of Government of Karnataka, which is related to school adoption. Way back in 2007, they had drafted this, but later there was no traction. So we revived that, and then we entered an MOU with the Department of Public Instruction or current school education department for 10 years. We are the only corporate to have a 10-year MOU with the department under the school adoption program. And what we have done now is we created infrastructure. We have created a world-class infrastructure. The schools that we have created are some things which even private schools in this part of the region doesn't have such kind of an infrastructure, because we feel that what we have in the airport needs to get replicated outside also. So that's the service benchmark which we have done. So from an infrastructure, once we created that, then we thought if we are creating such an asset, then it's also important to ensure that the asset has life. So that's when we looked at bringing in all the qualitative components into this physical infrastructure. And one of the driving motto for us is every child who comes into this infrastructure should always feel that they have never lost an opportunity because of their socio-economic conditions. They have all the opportunities to explore their dreams and make it a reality. So that is what we are putting up now. I am happy to say that over the past 5 years of such kind of an focused interventional deep dive aspect, in spite of COVID impact, we have a positive learning outcome in these schools. Enrollments are an easy yardstick to look at how the impact, how the outcome has been rather than the impact. But beyond enrollments, the enrollments have tripled, or in some school it's 5 times than what it was earlier. But from a learning perspective, when we do the baseline in the starting of the academic year, and then when we look at the end line at the end of the academic year, of course, we have midterm assessments and ongoing assessments based on the continuous and comprehensive evaluation frameworks. We have seen a minimum, there is a development of 20 percentile jump in the learning outcomes. So for every child, having a 20 percentile jump in their learning outcome is substantial in that way. So absolutely. I feel that's the outcome which we are seeing, and that is the one of the moving, I should share this component which as I will take it as a compliment, but the observations how parents also do. In one of the adopted school, the mother had put one child in this school, in the school which we have adopted, which is a government higher primary school, and also had got another kid join the private school. For 1 year, they had looked at the learning abilities of both their children at home, back home, and not in the school. So when they realized that the learning ability of the child coming to the government higher primary school is better compared to their sibling in the home, next year the mother shifted the child to the government higher primary school. And not only that, the icing on the entire part is she contributed 10,000 rupees to the school, saying that I had spent 80,000 rupees as a course fee and expenses in the private school. Now that I am saving it because you are there in the government higher primary school, let me give this 10,000 as a contribution.
Amazing.
That outcome is what I am more concerned rather than anything else. That gives the certification. So I don't need a third party certification for any of these. This is a good certification for us.
Absolutely. Community giving a certificate is always the best certificate, in terms of any community intervention. Let me congratulate both you and as well as BIAL for this wonderful initiative and to bring this kind of change at the grassroots level, especially at the government school level. We all of us have to, put in a lot of efforts there. There is a need and there is an opportunity for all of us as well. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this.